Why, hello there, my fellow Ice Sheet warriors. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Biotech, the first Wendigo. Episode 62, Late Summons. Because Mass is a moral guide and can preach health, well, I'll put it this way. In the many hours of content that I've created for RimWorld, I can count on like one hand how many times I've had someone who I cared about succumb to an illness. And that's probably a good way of putting it. My point being, it's so very rare that an illness kills me that it's not something to worry about. Ooh, a shoot frenzy for Wendy. Cheers. Double Masterworks. In fact, this one should go to Wendy. Because her L-Tech shirt just got tattered. She already had tattered stuff as a penalty because of her Mech Commander helmet's an 8.7. But a Masterwork shirt keeps her heart protected, because the last time she was raided and shot, they shot her in the heart. Which was mean. It was rude. Well, Randy's looking pretty happy. She really enjoyed killing Double D. But I didn't get around to doing the Mike xenogerm yet. Mike, why aren't you even eating? Also, what gives? Why are we storing genes in the stockpile here? Go bank those. Do we ever get the dirt mold gene that we required? Not in an egg, no. No. So the ones that we want to scan would be dark vision, which I have, great mining, which I have. I already have super fast wound healing, so the fast wound healing doesn't really matter. But in terms of, for the Wendigo project, I don't have them in eggs, which would be a Rurif cross. So this one is technically viable for the fast wound healing, but doesn't have dark vision. And then that's the only Rurif fertilized egg that I have. I could actually fertilize some of the other eggs here. Well, thank you for the resub. Maybe I'll get around to doing that in just a minute. The other thing to consider is it might make sense for someone like Bryzit to start fertilizing the eggs instead of one of the humans, because Bryzit has other genes to be able to pass down. So if Bryzit fertilized a Rurif egg, you'd have a cold-tolerant, robust, reduced pain crossed with whatever egg is being fertilized. So I could see it both ways. One of the issues with Bryzit, though, is because Bryzit carries a bunch of positive genes genetically, but only carries poor shooting as a negative gene. The likelihood of me being able to filter out dark vision or fast wound healing from a dirt mold is really low. One of the problems with Bryzit, and actually with MIDI that as well, is MIDI and Bryzit don't have a lot of negative germline genes, which means that their gene line is not ideal. All right, there's the mic. And I'll operate. So now Mike has got all these genes. Great mining, dark vision, furry tail. Is a little bit slower, but that's fine because he actually has a bionic leg. So his slowness is already offset partially by the bionic leg. And is a very capable miner. So hopefully will be a good deep driller. And I don't even need to use the skill trainer for him because at 18, that's about as good as it gets. I do have a mining skill trainer, but I'll save that for later. So yeah, I'll probably cross with a baseliner to filter out those genes. Is exactly right. So I'll have T-Sing go over and start fertilizing. So let's do that now. I'll wait until the vats are cleared out, and do it in bulk all at once. That way it's a little bit easier. So Wendy, you are due for your death rest. There she goes. So the psychofluid pump has bound to her. So when she wakes up from her death rest, she will get the benefits of that pump. Looks like my steel stockpile here is filling up quick. I'm going to create a little bit more space for more steel. Time for 7 raids? Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Let me check up on my turrets. Repaired and rearmed. Good. I'm going to put a little bit of steel here as well. In fact, I'll put it on a shelf. So that I can quickly reload the turrets with steel that is stored nearby. I do have the tox bugs to help with raids, but that only helps if the raids come from the east, or if they prepare a while or something like that. If I get raided by breachers, northwest, you know, those bugs aren't going to help me at all. Hoping for a high mate quest? Or slavers. That's another way to get high mates. High mates typically are slaves, and I could buy the high mate and scan the high mate's genes. I'd be down for that. Why haven't we... Oh, because my hauler zones. Fixed it. What are the benefits of shelf over stockpile? Shelves store more stuff per square meter than stockpile floors. That, and if the shelves aren't flammable, it will help stop decay. It helps stop fires from damaging the things on the shelf, and it's 3 times more storage than it would be on the floor. So there's a lot of benefits to shelving. In this case, it's just so that it's not on the ground. It's also prettier. That's another one, is the... See how the items in the stockpile have negative BD modifiers because it's strewn about? And then in the kitchen, for instance, you don't have all those negative modifiers because they're on shelves. They're stored away. They look tidy. So that's another big one. And not all things can be on shelves, though. Like, toxic waste packs can't be on shelves, so... And large corpses can't either. The new shelves, exactly. Orange, are you done? Yeah, there's one left here, buddy. But I can't draft you to send you back. There, I'll just change your zones and that will do. So Wendy is death resting for 2 days left. Mike's coma will be done in 1 day, 1.5 days. And then if you're wondering about the other xenogermination comas, the grow pods, I believe, halt them. But at least Mike is recovering in the meantime. Hey, Pasty, thank you for the resub. So I seem to make a good argument to include some steel shelves in my crafting area. Yeah, it wouldn't be terrible for him to have shelves in here. It just has never been a voted priority. That and, as long as I have, like, fire foam poppers or paramedic bots to be able to fight the fires or, you know, pop packs or something like that. It's just less of a issue, in my opinion. It might make things look nice, but things looking nice isn't exactly Wendy's priority. She just wants things to be efficient. So, burning a bunch of our resources on beauty would definitely not be considered efficient by her standards. That's why her death rest is out in the open on the floor next to giant stockpiles of steel. Because it works. If it had been anyone else, maybe I would have taken a different strategy. So our egg timer is about 7 days. I don't think that there's anyone to scan, though. 10 days, 13 days, 8 days. So yeah, definitely no one to scan. You know what? Oh, hold up. One of the issues Mass is having is Mass is getting the sensory mechanites debuff, but what I could do is I can have Fang Face. I'm going to rename the prison zone to just be Paramedic Bot, because that'd be more accurate now. I'll have Fang Face actually tend to Mass and Mike. Rice is looking good? Yeah, it is. Just a day and a half left. Please, Randy. Let Wendy fight her own fights. Don't force Mass to do it. Mass ain't very good at it. Mass tries, but there's a limit to the capabilities. More herb beds? Wouldn't be a terrible idea once things stabilize even a little bit more. Because one of the things that I don't have is I don't have any chem fuel, and chem fuel will be made out of veggies. So I'm going to turn on the biofuel refinery to make some chem fuel for the pod launchers and for the shells and whatever else we need chem fuel for. Where's Rosie? I feel like the base is really dirty right now. She's working on it. Prediction for a raid during death rest? Sure. There you go. Predictions up. For the record, she only has 1.2 days left. So, yeah, you're welcome to predict on that. And then if you want to see my history graph, if I was I don't know if I'm going to be rated within 1.2 days, but I'm definitely due for something. One could even say overdue. I would definitely say this is like the most pacifistically calm Randy has ever been. Did like RimWorld have a stealth update of like, if Rhadamant playing, turn off raid? This is weird. It's very weird. So Kish, you are wondering, let's assign you to the recharge group. I don't think it would be a terrible idea for me to resecure my alliances with the corsets I've been making. So I'm going to send 25 corsets, or 26, however many that was, over to the Glitterworld Empire, because I only have 20 rep with them. Definitely, I need to adjust that needle. Hey, Chelsea, thank you for the resub. 33 months. Cheers. I'm modded dead calm into Randy. It sort of low-key feels like that, doesn't it? It's a default Randy, I assure you. I haven't messed with my mod loadout. I've just been getting lucky or unlucky. Really depends on how you look at it. Some people just like the pure chaos. Some people actually like the progress. It's the yin and yang of RimWorld. Harkens back to the time of oh, quest available area attack. It harkens back to the time of Twitch Toolkit, when you'd have those opposing forces fight one another with Twitch Toolkit points in order to either make my life a living hell or to actually help me out. I was never really sure which. If I am having a bit of a brownout, I am going to turn off the grow lights so that we can have the power catch back up. Also turn off things that are superfluous, like the fab bench, the machining table, and the smelter, because we're not really using it at the moment. And Mike is up. Super Minor Mike. Unfortunately, I don't really have any I don't have any mining tasks for Mike to do until I ground pen scan something. Unless I want to deep drill slate or granite, which I do not want. Wendy is up in 11 hours, so you guys that made the predictions are probably biting your nails now. Especially given that event. You're probably like, oh god, what is it? And the prediction is when she is able to awake from death rest in 10 hours, not when she hits 100%. I should have specified, but basically when she's able to awake from death rest without penalty would be the buzzer. I'm sort of tempted in trying to incorporate some geothermal generators, additional geothermal generators into the colony. The issue is they're so close to these outer walls that I think they're very likely to get destroyed by would-be raiders if I did. Maybe at some point I will, but not quite yet. Not unless I re-engineer the walls. Which reminds me, speaking of re-engineering the walls, the behind-the-wall zone should be updated. The reason Orange Chaos never mined that out is he was not allowed to. That looks right. Ooh, Spacieo. So Steph is 1, and then the others are 15, and I think I'm going to push them to 18. I actually don't think that Bryzit could probably come out at 16, because Bryzit is not going to be a combatant pawn, but Mitty should probably stay in there until 18. The difference is, at 18, you don't have movement speed penalties, which is particularly bad for someone that fights, but Bryzit is a researcher, and it would be really helpful for Bryzit to hop on the ground pen scanner to scan for minerals for Mike to mine up. So as soon as Bryzit hits 16, I'll kick Bryzit out. Plus, at 16, Bryzit can still fertilize eggs. So one of the things that Bryzit could do, fertilizing eggs-wise, is Bryzit mixing with a baseline egg will basically just make Bryzit clones. So if I do want cold-tolerant, robust, and reduced pain pawns, I can have Bryzit fertilize eggs like Ramirez's eggs, who was a baseliner, or Placidia's eggs, I think was a baseliner. And that will just make additional Bryzit clones. For the most part. Not exactly, but for the most part, that tends to be what happens. And that could be really a powerful tool. If I like a certain variation of Wendigo attempt, I can clone them. Sort of. Not really a clone, but Wendy doesn't see them as people, just as pawns. So to her, they're clones. Well, I went from having 48 steel to 3,689 steel, so I feel like I'm doing pretty good there. This shelf is nice and loaded up as well. Plasteel is really where I'm lacking. I only have 85 plasteel, and I have no sources of it to be found anywhere. Rice is also looking equally pretty good. And Wendy can death rest, so those that predicted I was not rated. A surprise to me, too. F, you were hoping for chaos. And she's at already 100%, so wick now. So one of the things that we're going to have for her is Psychofluid Rush. So she will gain additional meditation psi focus per day. She will recover from heat faster and have a higher psychic sensitivity, for better or for worse. One thing that I should be on the lookout for to buy is a foil helmet in case I get, you know, droner events. Because as I add additional psychofluid rushes to her death rest setup, she will be more vulnerable to the droners. So that's something to be careful about. Can I make her new helmet yet? No, I cannot. I only have a power focus chip. For her to have a new helmet, I would need a signal chip. I could fight a Diabolus. In fact, it might be high time for us to vote on a new priority because it has been a while. See if you want me to continue to vat grow additional eggs or work to something else. So let me update this actually. All right, there we go. New priority. Right, buddy? And now that I don't have power problems, I'll turn on these lights. I'll be back in just a sec. Okay. Prize it's out. We'll have to do the Como timer. And MIDI is in for another whatever's left on that timer. It's kind of hard to calculate because it's a bit of a moving number. I did mention that I wanted to potentially try for crossed... Here, you can go recharge. Try for some additional eggs. So I'll do that in just a moment. And this is going to be gift basket. So glitterworld Empire would be 51, and Inalore would be 46. So I'll do the 51 to Empire. Good. 20 to 71. Perfect. All right, T-Sang, time for you to fertilize. So we're going to be doing Rurift eggs and seeing if any of them are viable. Slow runner, so non-viable. Which is too bad, because it has fast wound healing and strong melee. Let's try for Impid eggs, too, because I don't have a good Impid cross. Wait. Oh, that was Double D's egg. Oops. That explains it. I was like, Impids aren't Psychic Doll. Skin hardening is done, and you guys wanted specialized limbs. So, very fast, slow wound, nope, non-viable. Again, a little reminder, and maybe I'll show genes for a bit. So the genes at the top, on the left are the ones that I want, on the right are the ones that I do not want. So Husk, you are a pigskin, so I'll have T-Sang try to make a pigskin cross. And this pigskin has trotter hands, so it is non-viable. Try for another Neanderthal cross. This one has slow study, so non-viable. Bekro, what are you? Bekro is also a Neanderthal? Yeah. So we'll try for another Neanderthal. This one is viable. Cold tolerant, strong melee damage with no negatives. Cool. Do I want crossed with mass? I guess it wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't matter. I'll fertilize all of them. Just robust. That's kind of boring. Good for a good for just like a Vacrone soldier grunt. Double D. Oh, Double D I ate and killed, so I don't even know what her genes are, but I'll cross that too. Strong melee damage. I guess that's good for a grunt as well. It's really expensive due to the great animals, though. So if I did grow this egg, I would want to implant, or yeah, xenogerm implant bad animals. But we'll do some extra Double D stuff too. So this one, kind of the same deal. Another great animal, strong melee damage, but it's expensive. Same deal, just without the melee damage. This one's even more useless to me. Actually, this one is not even viable. It doesn't have a positive gene. This one is a little bit better. Robust, psychic doll. Alright. Here's another mass egg. Strong immunity. Okay, so this one's non-viable. Gotta throw that out entirely. Here's another. We have strong melee damage from the dirt mole, but not fast wound healing or dark vision, so that's unfortunate. That was another attempt. Didn't work out. And then these two eggs are baseliner eggs. So I'll probably have MIDI, or Bryzit rather, fertilize those. Because if T-Sang fertilizes is just baseliner cross baseliner, which is absolutely not going to yield anything interesting. Just skin and hair color. Big whoop. Fight a mech boss. All right. I'm going to have you guys pick what mech boss. So let me explain the three choices before you vote. The Diabolus would allow me to make a new Mech Commander helmet for Wendy. Her Mech Commander helmet has 8.7% left on it. And without that Mech Commander helmet, she would need to switch over to some other bandwidth device that wouldn't have armor. So that's one possibility. and killing a Diabolist would allow her to make said helmet. If I did a War Queen, I would get a Power Focus chip. So the Power Focus chip's here. I already have one of them and I haven't used it yet. But what I could do with this Power Focus chip that I haven't done yet is to make better implants. So Remote Shielder to be able to shield robots, to add like a shield belt effect, or Remote Repair, or there's also some machining stuff to be able to do. So if I open High Mech Tech here, we have the Integrator headset, which is higher bandwidth, but just no armor. Sort of like the one Mass is wearing, but better. If we did an Integrator headset and I gave it to Mass, Mass could get higher bandwidth. So here's the Integrator headset with the Power Focus chip. And as you can see, this thing has 9 bandwidth versus Mass's current headset, which has, what, 3? So that would increase Mass's bandwidth by 6, which is enough room to add like a Diabolist or something strong, potentially. Or to take over Wendy's Tunneler and free Wendy up to be wearing normal armor. There's 2 schools of thought there. And then if I do the Apocryton, that actually opens up Ultra Mech Tech entirely, giving me the possibility of making Mechlord suit and Mechlord helmet. The big question is, and I think I'm going to ask first, is should Wendy move away from using Mech Commander armor? Yes or no? So one of the advantages of moving away from Mech Commander armor is it allows her to wear Psi-Focus stuff, and allows her to actually get a little bit more in combat. One of the problems of risking her as a Mech Commander is if she gets downed or incapacitated in some way due to fire or whatever else, all of her mechs kind of go roaming. So if I actually focus the mech control on Mass and Bryzit being a really good contender because Bryzit is going to be somewhat non-combat researcher colonist. What that allows Wendy to do is it allows Wendy to shift a lot of the mech control over to her genetic experiments, giving her the ability to wear heavier armor, and for the mechs to be controllable while she's death resting. Because that's another huge disadvantage is when she death rests, not only do I lose the ability for her to fight, but I lose the ability to be able to draft all of the combat mechs. So when she death rests, the entire colony is particularly vulnerable due to the lack of mech power during rests. So there is a bit of an advantage of moving away from Mech Commander stuff. Also, the armor itself of the Mechlord isn't particularly good. The armor chart of a Mechlord helmet is 92. Sounds good, but you compare that to Cataphract armor and it's not great. Plus, it's really expensive to be able to replace this stuff. And then the Mechlord suit, again, is 92. That's about on par with Recon armor. But if we were to wear Cataphract armor or Phoenix armor or something like that, right? So Cataphract helmet is 120. Phoenix armor is 115. Cataphract armor is 120. Wendy is so fast that she could definitely accommodate full body Cataphract and like not slow down all that significantly because she moves at the speed of light. Nope, as she just demonstrated, sucking their blood before they even realized she entered the room. Oh, Ryzik goes, oh, I could become a Mechanator? Yes. So the reason you could become one is there's actually an ancient Mechanator complex right here. So one of the things I could definitely envision happening is for me to start, maybe Bryzit would be a really good contender to... So here's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm going to keep Wendy as a Mechanator no matter what, right? The Mechanator link isn't coming out of her brain. She'd have to die for that. But moving a lot of the combat mechs over to Mass, and then moving the worker mechs over to Bryzit, so that Mass basically is non-combat, or Bryzit, for that matter, is essentially non-combat and just controls a whole lot of mechs. Would be pretty handy, because at that point, what we could start to make, one way to really get your bandwidth up without too much penalty is to make, where is it? To make the bandwidth pack. So the bandwidth pack, unlike the armor, won't decay. It's a utility item. And the advantage of the bandwidth pack is the bandwidth pack raises your mech bandwidth by 9. So you mix a bandwidth pack that raises it by 9 with a array headset, which raises it by 6, and you get 15 bandwidth. And that 15 bandwidth does not require you to kill any mech bosses. So it makes it replaceable. One of the issues of being a mech commander is a lot of the best gear requires you to kill additional bosses, which is annoying when the gear wears out and you have to just constantly kill more bosses to replenish your gear. But if you design mech controllers with erase headsets and bandwidth packs, there's no decay, right? The bandwidth packs aren't ever going to zero their utility item. And then the array headsets, you can just replace for regular old steel and components. And that way you can have a mech commander that, that doesn't have to churn kill mechs constantly. Which is nice, because Wendy's goal is not to be a mech god. She is the mother of Wendigos. It's kind of different. And it looks like you guys agree. Got it. Okay. So, what mech boss should I kill? So, Diabolus would allow me to make a new helmet or a bandwidth pack. A War Queen would give me a signal chip. And then the Apocryton. Unlock Ultra Tech. And yeah, unlock Ultra Tech. Alright, there you go. The bandwidth pack, actually, I would need to kill 2 Diaboluses. But, whatever. And I spelled Apocryton wrong. But it's close enough that you guys understand, I think. So Wendy is getting her fly focus up max. And, we'll definitely get ready for a big fight coming up here. Ryza is starving. Oh, are they on the wrong food? Yeah, you're on prison food. Cannibal meals. And let's feed you. That's another thing that I need to do, is to make sure that my children are on cannibal meals. Otherwise, there's no way they can feed themselves, because the food that comes out of this nutrient paste dispenser is prisoner only. How do you go about managing all the waste packs before they get out of hand? Dumping them in caravans? I'm just dumping them to the environment, because there's no reason not to. Wendy's immune to it. She doesn't care what other people feel. So there's no good reason for her to do any to work any extra effort other than just to dump it locally. How is Sky? Sky is genes were growing in 6 days and needs go juice in 18 days. Oh my god, slow down, Wendy. Going too fast. I'll say it looks like the Apocryton's going to win this poll. Has a pretty steady lead. 3/4 of you on it. So let me get that going. So that, I need a mechman dish. I'll put that out here. Egg extraction about 5 days. Nobody's bio-starving. That's good. Rice is looking real good. So perhaps on... Well, no, actually only 500. I'm going to hold off on that too. So let's go ahead and summon an Apocryton threat. So it's an Apocryton with a heavy shield, 5 Scythers, and 6 Militors. Before I do this, I'm going to set all of my people behind the walls. And mechs are all behind... Actually, mechs are all going to be behind the walls as well. That way they can't go out and wandering. The Apocryton has been summoned. And now I'm going to close the only door that was opened to come into the base. Kill an Apocryton. Tannering and Crimson Rust, thank you for the resubs. Happy New Year to both of you. And cheers. I'm hoping the Apocryton enters close to the bugs. That's the prayer. Seven hours coma for Bryzit. And then Bryzit will help Wendy with the ground pen scanning. It's too bad you can't set like a specific worker for research benches and ground pen scanners. You have to like zone them, which is kind of annoying. Come on, Apocryton. Oh, you're starving again. That's another thing that I would really like to get is the tech print for artificial metabolism to give my very hungry Wendigo nuclear stomachs. That way they would never get food poisoning and they don't have to eat as often, but when they do eat, they feast. Just 2 more hours. We still have the sensory mechanites, but that's actually going to work to my favor for some of my shooters because these shooters have much higher sight and manipulation to be able to fight better. How old is Mitty? About halfway to 17. And Bryzit's up. So go get yourself some clothing. And I'll set you up with work priorities. So you're going to be joining me as a researcher. And that's about it. Oh, Mass is throwing a party for Bryzit. So Bryzit's also a body modder. And it would not be a bad idea for me to at least get... Well, no, that's not true. The xenogerm counts as an implantation, but it would be good for Bryzit to have some additional implants for happiness, so that they're easier to appease. As a researcher, there's not a lot that I have right now. If I think that neural computation would be an obvious one, but I don't have the tech print for that. Of all the skill trainers, are there any that Bryzit could use? Not really. So I have melee, cooking, and mining, and none of them really are relevant to... I could give Bryzit melee, but I'm waiting for, obviously, Mitty, because Mitty is the meleeer. Mitty will be like a level 20 meleeer. Wait, are you wearing tainted stuff? What is going on with your clothing here? Yeah, take the tainted clothing off, dude. I'm obviously failing as a clothing assignment. So you absolutely suck at combat, but I'll give you a chain. No, I'll give you a heavy SMG. John Banshee, thank you for the resub as well. Arms for manipulation wouldn't be a terrible idea. I think I'm going to hold off on engineering him, at least for now, because I actually don't have a lot of, I don't have a lot of plasteel to be able to afford that kind of stuff at the moment. It would be good to get a parka on you, or duster or something. Well, no, it'd be really good to get you, like, proper recon armor or something like that. But even in just a shirt and pants, because of all the genetic engineering I did, he's comfortable at about -40, so it's really not an issue to get more layers yet. I think this Apocryton is, oh, you're wearing a shield? Yeah, drop that. The Apocryton is waiting to show up because it thinks that this is a combat event, but it's obviously a dormant combat event, so it's actually pretty funny. The Apocryton's just like, oh, I'm not going to show up until those, Yeah, no, they're not. I'm waiting to hatch them. So this is what happens is if there is some sort of, let's say it's manhunters or waste pack infestations or something on the map tile, the mech bosses will be much slower to arrive, but they will arrive. So if the moment that a manhunter pack hits you, you call in a mech boss, chances are in day 2 or 3 of the manhunters visiting you, the mech boss will show up. It's just harder to arrange it that way because of the delays. Because the game attempts not to have them overlap like that. So we're researching specialized limbs. And after that, I'm just going to make the decision myself to get jump packs. Really? That's the first time I've gone by the Ancient Danger with a human? Look at how much I mined it out that only now I'm getting the alerts. And this is another AD. One of the advantages of doing the Ancient Dangers is I could get the tech prints I'm after that way. But it doesn't necessarily mean I have to do the Ancient Dangers on this map tile. I could easily go to other map tiles and do them. And Wendy would be quite the Ancient Danger master. I mean, what behind those walls would stop her? She's got, you know, good combat skills, skip, vampire skills. Very easy for her. Was I able to get Hussar jeans to rip? Yes. Sky's right here, and I've been ripping Sky. I'll administer Go Juice before I forget. Keep Sky alive. Sky's not had Go Juice in 43 days. 3 seconds. All right. That'll buy me some time. So with the second researcher, Ryza can sit on the ground pan, and I'll be able to actually find some deep drill opportunities for Mike, who's the super miner, to get. Look how this Apocryton is just trying to wait out the wait out the raid. Hey, Bit, how you doing? What were you up to? You were playing StarCraft. The OG StarCraft? Dang. That's cool. Brood War. Well, thank you for the raid. And welcome, Raiders. Drill arms only cost components and steel, so I'm going to have T-Sang make them for Mike. It was very Zerg. You know, we're kind of Zerg here too. I'm making genetically engineered Zerg monsters that eat people. I don't think the Zerg ever ate people. Which is honestly just a misallocation of resources. Come on, Zerg. Come on, Kerrigan. What are you doing? You should be eating people. Fresh kidneys and livers. They ate planets? I guess. That's true. They never ate people. Quite a waste. Thank you for tuning in to The First Wendigo, which originally streamed live on Twitch January 1st. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Wendigos,